Hello, this is a video about Xbrl, which is an acronym that stands for Extensible Business Reporting Language. This is what we're going to do. We're going to cover what is Xbrl, how does Xbrl work, what is an Xbrl instance document, how are Xbrl files created, and then we'll wrap up with how is Xbrl part of a business reporting supply chain. Well, Xbrl is a free open data standard for financial reporting and analyzing data. It's based upon the XML syntax. It was developed by Xbrl International, a nonprofit consortium of over 600 major worldwide companies, organizations, and government agencies. It's used by security regulators, banks, tax agents, investment agencies, credit rating agencies, and public corporations all over the world. Now in the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission requires all publicly held corporations and foreign corporations that are sold over any American stock exchange to send their financial reports to the SEC in XBRL format. They will no longer accept financial reports in Word files or Excel files. All XBRL terms should be based upon U.S. GAAP and IFRS principles. Well, how does Xbrl work? Well, Xbrl requires two parts or documents. The first is the taxonomy document, which defines the concepts and their relationships that you would see in a business document. This, thank heavens, is already created for us and is available for use. So what's a taxonomy document? Well, it contains schemas and link bases. Schemas define all the elements or the concepts that are to be in a financial report. An element is a basic piece of information that's in a financial report, and link bases define the relationships between the elements. Let me show you an example. A schema that would be created to report all of the data in a simple balance sheet would contain all the definitions for the terms such as balance sheet, assets, current assets, non-current assets, and so on. The link base, on the other hand, would keep track of how all of these concepts are related. For example, the link base would know that the stock value and the retained earnings value, if you added those two values up, that would be the equity, and the equity would appear on a balance sheet. There's dozens of XBRL taxonomies that are available. The Financial Accounting Foundation, which is the parent organization to the Financial Accounting Standards Board, and the Governmental Accounting Standards Board maintains the XBRL standards for the United States. Under unique circumstances, companies may create an extension taxonomy for any new elements, and this is where the term extensible comes from. If you're interested in looking at U.S. GAAP taxonomies or IFRS taxonomies, I've got the URLs here where you can view them. This is a print screen of the taxonomies for U.S. GAAP for 2013, and this is from the xbrl.us website. In the middle of the print screen here, you can see that there are 5 main groups of taxonomies. There's banking and savings, brokers and dealers, commercial and industrial, which most companies fall in this group, insurance, and real estate. Well, let's go back to how does XBRL work. The second part of XBRL are the instance documents, and these are reports that have the accounting and the financial data values in them. And this is the XBRL document that companies create. An instance document contains all of the financial values or facts of a company in no special order, and each company creates their own instance document. Now what you see here is a human readable example, and this shows you that there are several accounts that are being reported. For example, the accounts payable has a value of 90, and it also is reported in dollars as of a certain date, December 31st, 2013. If the taxonomy document is added to the instance document, a computer program can produce a meaningful business report out of those two documents. Well, let's take a peek inside an Xbrl instance document and see how financial data would be reported. As you can see, this is based upon XML syntax. There are elements, and each element is made up of tags and content. Well, the first element that is on the slide is the context element, and this reports two things. The first one is the entity, and this identifies the company, and in this case the company has a unique identifier code that the SEC has given it, and it's 12345. The second element is the period element, and this says that this is an instant in time, December 31st, 2013. The next element is the unit element, which identifies US dollars. And then the last element, now we're getting down to an actual piece of data that would be on the financial report. This says that we have 51,921,000, and it is the value that's in the accounts payable current account. It's as of December 31st, 2013, and it is reported in units of dollars. The decimals equal -3 means that it's accurate to the nearest thousand. Well, how are Xbrl files created? Well, there's three alternatives. A company can have a filing agent do it, and this is really easy, but it costs a lot of money. A company can do filing in-house, or a company can use a web-based tagging service. And this is rather primitive, but it's getting better. I'm not going to cover this in this video. Let's take a look at the first option, using a filing agent. The process would be like this. The company would provide the agent with normal financial statement data in perhaps a spreadsheet format. The agent makes choices, tags, and identifies the issues to be resolved, and this would usually be on that spreadsheet. The CFO would make decisions, resolve issues, and send that financial spreadsheet back to the filing agent. The filing agent does final tagging, validating, and sends the Xbrl to the company for approval. 95% of companies use a filing agent for their first year of SEC Xbrl filings. Here's an example of a filing agent's report, and this was created by R. Donnelly. This is what the CFO would look at and approve. And as you can see, there is a list of accounts that would appear on an income statement, and they're broken out by 4 quarters. And if you look at the column on the right, this is a list of the Xbrl element names that R. Donnelly had selected. And the CFO would have to look at these and validate these and approve these as accurately representing the accounts of this particular company. The second option is do filing in-house, and this would be a do-it-yourself tagging process. First of all, a company would have to identify someone or a small team internally who knows a bit about Xbrl. They would have to select a software tool, start with normal data in a spreadsheet, and do some initial tagging. The team would discuss tagging choices and issues, do some final tagging, and then validate the Xbrl file. And 50% of companies in their second year of filing are using commercial software in-house to create Xbrl filings. You might think that Xbrl is part of a larger reporting supply chain of financial data, and this is because Xbrl is a standard for moving business reporting information. The advantages are it provides a single, simple, standard way of representing business reporting data. It's transparent and has common definitions, which are stored in those taxonomies. It automates and improves data quality, and it can be shared by all financial and business stakeholders. Visually, it looks something like this. Xbrl can be looked at in terms of processes in a company and the participants at the company. As far as the processes, Xbrl can be used for business operations, internal business reporting, external business reporting, and that would be the example of the files that would be sent to the SEC. Investment lending regulation. Companies can use Xbrl in making bank loan applications, and it can be used in economic policy making. Well, who are the participants? Well, it's all companies who are traded on any of the United States stock exchanges. Other participants are financial publishers and data aggregators, and this would be companies like Value Line, Standard & Poor, Morningstar. All the investors, central banks, and corporate lenders. Trading partners would be involved in any kind of mergers and acquisitions. Management accountants, all internal and external auditors, and all regulators, because they would require that all data be accurately reported and comply with Sarbanes-Oxley. And finally, the software vendors, who are selling software that creates Xbrl files. So this is what we did. We looked at what is Xbrl, how does it work, what's an Xbrl instance document, how are these files created, and how is Xbrl part of a reporting supply chain.